All right, welcome back to In the Can. We are on the Sunday, first weekend of the Sundance Film Festival here in 2014. Speaking with the filmmakers and actors of Cold in July, which premiered yesterday to glorious applause and somebody burned a building down. Jim Mickle, director, writer here, Michael C. Hall, Vanessa Shaw, Nick D'Amici, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
How did it go yesterday? I mean, had you seen the film with an audience before? What was the reaction?
I watched it once with him when we watched the tape down and made sure there's no glitches or anything before sending it out. And that was the biggest audience so far. So yesterday was the first time really seeing it with a crowd. It was great. It was amazing.
Were you surprised by any of the reactions? I mean, were there certain moments where you got to laugh, where you didn't, or?
No,
not that your films are always super funny. But
I was I guess surprised that everyone got the humor as quickly as they did. You know, because it kind of creeps up in our film, but right off the bat, people were responding to it, so made it easier to not just sweat through the whole thing and be terrified.
Right, Michael. The premise of the film, you're being robbed.
Yeah, there's a burglar
in the house. You shoot him dead.
We wake up and I load a gun and, without actually meaning to, shoot and kill the intruder.
Right, and as many times when you happen to kill an intruder in the house, it sets forward a series of events.
Yeah, everything starts to. It's a portal to chaos.
Which is kind of your MO a little bit, right? I mean, when you've been to Sundance before. Your film, we've talked about cannibalism. You've bordered on the horror film genre and things like that. Tell me a little bit about your film this time around, though, because obviously we've got some pretty horrific scenes in this film as things start to unfold. I'm not going to talk about that, but what was your approach to this as opposed to other projects?
Well, Nick and I had done a film years ago, a very low budget film, and then this is based on a book, so we read this book and both fell in love with it. And it's a wild, I think what we really loved was that it was a not one genre. It just kept turning and turning and becoming, it kept, every time you were like, oh, this is like a revenge thriller, it becomes something else. And I thought that was really interesting. You don't see that often in films. I think everything is very easily categorizable, and sort of the more you could sum it up on a box cover, the happier people are. So, so I think we just wanted to do something that wasn't that, and this book was that. So, the experience of reading the book, I think, was you start with this one paragraph, and by the end of the book, you're in 8 different places, and yet it all kind of makes sense and is emotionally satisfying, and you turn it over and you want to start from the beginning, and I felt like the screening last night kind of reflected that. So,
and that's always kind of the danger when you're adapting previous work, right? Because you don't want to put yourself into a box creatively. I mean, did you feel as actors that were you supposed to have a prescribed route from A to Z, or did you feel like you had a lot of freedom to create your own characters?
Well, I had a big question for Jim, because according to the novel, Anne was throughout much more, and they whittled a lot of the script, the adaptation down to what is on screen right now.
As is, with a film, it's obviously something
you have to whittle away.
Collateral damage.
I know. So, but Anne, she's become, a figure in the movie that's much more about, the real life, the real world that, Richard Dane is in, as juxtaposition to the crazy world he enters into. But so, for me, I felt like I was, challenged, I think, with understanding what kind of woman she was. I was like, is this going to be like a 90s movie where you just, hi honey, you're home, okay, well, I have no clue of what's going on in your other life,
Right.
But Jim was very much like, no, she's her own woman, and she has a lot going on, and she has a lot of principles behind what she believes in, and helped to read the book, because then it really brought in more of what was missing in between of the lines, the literal lines. So it was great. I mean, Jim let me do whatever I wanted.
Did you feel the same way, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I think the story is somewhat subjectively told through Richard Dane's perspective, and I was there for all the different versions of this movie that somehow cohere. But I remember when we were shooting early scenes in the house, we'd finish a day and I'd look at Jim and Nick and everybody else and think about what was to come, and we couldn't believe that we would be soon be welcoming like Don Johnson's character into our world or what have you, you know. But somehow it all coheres.
Good. Well, exciting to see it. Cold in July. Be playing throughout Sundance. Hopefully, it'll have a nice long life after as well. Thanks for being here. Good luck at the festival. That'll do it for In the Can. We'll see you tomorrow.